so hard to make me surrender? Why you always in my face? Do you really think it's over? 'Cause I've been kicked when I'm so down, too much until it's numb. And there's nobody can steal my fire. Nobody can steal my soul. Nobody can steal my soul. Nobody can steal my fire. Nobody can steal my soul. Nobody can steal my soul.
Oh yeah! Hey everyone, it's me again. Today I got you Mag, the queen of magnetism. Many people underestimate this Warframe because she's a starter Warframe and you're expected to get better gear later on in the game. But I'm here to tell you that she is one of the best Warframes in the game due to her damage, scalability, and crowd control, and support also. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting with her first ability, Pull, that pulls enemies toward her, creating vortex, clumping all of the enemies and ragdolling them in front of her. A mediocre CC ability. Her second ability, and her bread and butter, Magnatize, she creates a maximum of 3 bubbles that pulls enemies toward its center and store all the damage that comes from your weapons, abilities, the enemies that are clumped inside it, and multiply this damage. And this damage will come out once the bubble explodes. You can store the damage of the bubbles in another bubble, meaning once a bubble explodes, make sure you have another bubble to store the damage of the explosion. You get what I'm saying? For humongous amounts of damage. This ability excels with weapons with punch through and ricochet effects like the Nataruk, the Tenet Archoplasmor, Tenet Tetra, Carnal Latron, and so on. Her third ability, Polarize. This ability emits a magnetic pulse that breaks enemies' armor, dealing true damage. This true damage will drop polarized shards. These shards can be collected by Mag once you move next to it. And once you create a Magnatize, these shards can be pulled inside it, dealing puncture and slash damage to the enemies inside the Magnetize bubble. Also, this ability regenerates your shields fully without overshields. Unless you have an Ogre mod, it's a different story. Last but not least, her fourth ability, Crush. This ability literally lifts enemies, crush them in the air, and put them back again on the ground, regenerating the shields of hers, her companion, her teammates within the range. Now, since you have a decent understanding of her abilities, let's see what we got for the build section. I brought you 3 builds. Technically they are the same build with changing one mod, but the concept is different. First, I have a build with no helmet at all, utilizing the natural as my main DPS weapon since it has infinite body punch through and the arrow will literally stay inside the bubble until it hits a wall, meaning the bubble explodes, and using my first ability to pull enemies inside the bubble whenever I need to. I've used this build without any helmet, but a really good thing to add to this build is having Blood Altar to keep the main target of the bubble alive, so the bubble keeps pulling enemy inside. But I didn't like to use this because I want to be mobile. So let's see what we got in the build. In the aura, I got Growing Power for extra 25% ability strength whenever I proc a status effect, Prime Tree Foot less time on your butt, Stretch and Ogre Reach for 175% extra range, Rolling Guard for the 3 seconds of vulnerability, and Stealth Cleanse, rank 4 Streamline and Fleeting Expertise to increase my ability efficiency so I don't need to use Prime Flow or any Archon Charts for energy maximum. Natural Talent for casting speed, Umbrella Intensify for extra ability strength, paired with Molt Augmented, giving me a total ability strength of 229%, and Prime Continuity to counteract the negative duration from Fleeting Expertise, and Arcade Energize for extra sustainment. And my weapon of choice, as I said, is the Nataruk, and the build is as shown. I have Primary Deadhead for the juicy headshot damage multiplier and the base damage, and the rest is as usual: the Prime Faction damage, crit chance, crit damage, Galvanized Aptitude for Gumco and status chance, Galvanized Chamber for multi-shot, the corrosive mods, Prime Shred for extra fire rate, and punch through. I know the weapon already has innate body punch through, but I have Prime Shred for the balance so I can get the perfect shot on this weapon. Moving on. The second build is my favorite one since I'm using a melee setup. So let's start with my helmet, which is Breach Surge. This ability sends out surge sparks that amplify the damage once you hit an enemy, and this damage amplification seeks out the nearest enemies and deal the damage to it once it's multiplied. And this will work really well with gas status effect. And when we say gas, we say the organic metal auger with daggers. Yeah, juicy armor strip and juicy damage. So let's start with the Mags build, shall we? It's the same build, but the only difference is replacing the Ogre Reach with Counter Pulse, which is the third ability's augment that allows me to jam enemies' weapons for extra layer of CC. And instead of multi augmented, I'm using Arcane Strike for attack speed. Okay, let's see our melee, which is a Za build from the Bala Strike, Pei Grip, and Bargy 2 Jai Link. And let's see what we have in the build. Here I have melee exposure to give me extra corrosive damage whenever I use an ability, and I'm going to be proccing this quite often. An Exodia Force to give me extra damage whenever I proc a status effect, and I'm literally going to do this a lot. As you see, I have Blood Rush for crit chance, Condition Overload for stat stacking base damage multiplier, Prime Reach for extra range, Weeping Wounds status for status chance, Organ Shatter for crit damage, the two 60-60 mods to form gas, and Prime Smite mod to multiply my damage toward the faction. And Dreamer's Wrath, bro, I hate being sick. And Dreamer's Wrath to activate Senokai. And I will be pairing this with my primer, the Epitaph, the usual build, Viral and Heat, with Amalgam Barrel Diffusion, and the Dexterity Arcane for the extra combo duration, a very important part. And my primary will be the Organic modded with Amalgam Serration and Organic Metal Auger mod to strip enemies' armor whenever I deal damage with a dagger. And since I'm using gas, stripped of their armor. Plus you will be able to armor strip the Acolyte whenever he spawns. Moving on. Last but not least, my third build, which is my Disruption build. It's literally the same build as before, but the difference is I switched the augment for Fracturing Crash, which is the fourth ability augment that allows me to armor strip the enemies with my fourth ability. And this will be easily done with just Umbral Intensify. And since it's armor stripping build, let's utilize a really heavy weapon with raw damage. So I'm using Eclipse and have a multi augmented as my secondary arcane to increase my ability strength on my Eclipse to increase my final damage multiplier. And don't worry, they mentioned in the forum that Eclipse will stay the same but diminished. I'm not quite sure how much the ratio since a lot of people are complaining. We will see in the next update. But till then it will still work. And let's be honest, if they got it Eclipse, we just put Roar. Am I right? Alright, let's see the weapon of choice, which is the Teenage Arcaplasma, a really strong weapon that allows you to deal a lot of raw damage. As you see in the build, the weapon is Toxin Progenitor. I have Primary Deadhead to increase my headshot damage multiplier and give me base damage and recoil reduction. Galvanized Hell for multi-shot, Galvanized Savvy for gun CO and status chance, Prime Ravage for crit damage, Critical Deceleration for critical chance, Shotgun Barrage, Fire Rate, Tactical Bomb for reload speed, and Prime Charge Shell for the electric mod to form corrosive, and Prime Cleanse of Grenier to multiply my damage toward the faction. If you want to take this higher, I recommend swapping Prime Charge Shell for Prime Chilling Grasp to give you the juicy viral damage on your weapon, since viral damage deals 75% more damage to cloned flesh, and most of Grenier units, once you armor strip them, have cloned flesh, so you will deal more damage with this setup. Focus School can be literally whatever you want, and for my companion in all of my loadouts I've used the Worm Prime with the build shown, Guardian to replenish my shields whenever they break, Negate to protect me from a status effect every 5 seconds, Tenacious Bond to increase my critical damage, and don't forget to have Overclock with critical delay, Reinforced Bond to increase my fire rate and regen my companion's shield whenever I reload, Manifold Bond to refresh my companion's abilities, and that's it. That's it for me. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something new. Please consider subscribing, it's free, you can always change your mind. Also, dropping a like is very appreciated. Stay tuned and see you all next time in the next video. Bye bye. My nose are killing me.